Hey, everybody. So, we're back for another episode of Real Housewives of Potomac, Showtime, Season 7, Episode 11. So, the first thing I want to say is please be sure to like and subscribe as I try to grow my channel. Two, I know I go in on these people, but when I say I go in for fun too. But this has been a good season. This season is giving. Okay. So we start out with Karen and Giselle meeting at Giselle's house that's finally finished. We know it took a minute. It was a $9 million teardown. I still don't get that, but okay. So Karen is seeing Giselle's house since it's been completed. She says she likes her chandelier. The producer asks Karen, what does she really think about Giselle's house? The fact the producer asked that, one, is messy as hell. Two, that means you knew she was lying. All right, so she said she likes the chandelier, and that was a read within itself. And Giselle apparently has this backyard porch part, but it's open. It's like not enclosed, like where you can just see outside. And Giselle was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch some movies." And Karen goes in the wilderness with the bees and the stuff. She was like, "Yeah," and maybe the bees and a beast. And she was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll find a band that has it's kind of like a beast." And Karen was like, "Oh, I like it, Karen. Girl, that was fake. That was so fake to say you liked it." Anyway, so she brought Giselle's twin girls a gift because she knows they had a party or whatever. And is it just me, or did the girls seem really happy to see Karen? And if they like Karen that much and have known her because that's how Karen and Giselle met, like as parents, I really hope treating Karen this way over the years on TV has been worth it, Giselle. I really do, because I don't know that those kind of relationships are worth throwing away as we have seen them be thrown away on reality TV over and over again. So, anyway, they sit down and Giselle mentions the live show to Karen, the live podcast, whatever the hell they're doing. So Giselle says she's asking Karen what she's doing because y'all are having something around the same time. And she goes, so Karen explains it, and she goes, "You get it?" And Giselle's like, "Yeah." And in the confessional, Giselle's like, "I don't get it." Like, why are they so fake? Like, I just can't stand it. So Giselle's messy, gossiping ass starts talking about Mia and Jacqueline and what they were talking about when they were drinking. See, this is why you don't drink with just everybody. This is why you don't let loose with just anybody. Because people like Giselle use this for fodder for conversations, and Giselle has managed to keep y'all bitches out of her business. I don't know how she does it. And granted, to Mia's point at the end, she don't really have no business. She don't have no storyline. And quite frankly, I do think she would. I just think she has this dedication to not appearing a certain way on TV, despite the fact that everybody hates her because she's a bitch. But she still like tries to cover all these things, like it's just so easy for her to get a man, and then Jamal embarrasses her and over again, and she keeps walking back into it. And then she tries to convince us they have this great co-parenting relationship, which may or may not be true because you're so fucking fake. But anyway, so she says she wants to know if Gordon and Mia are buying Jacqueline cars. Why, Giselle? You want one? You are awfully interested, okay? And let me tell you something. Giselle got a lot of dirt. Don't ask me how I know. And one of these days I'll get around to it. But I tell you what, like I said before, check with people who were at Hampton in the 90s. Anyway, so why do y'all, I mean, I don't understand why people let Giselle know so much. So she says, she's telling Karen this, by the way. She says, "Well, you know, her and Jacqueline were showering together in Miami." Giselle was like, "Where were you?" Karen was like, "In my room where I was supposed to be." And the bottom line is, she was like, "Look, if they were in the window," she was like, "you could see them." And Giselle was like, "Yeah." She was like, "They wanted to be seen." And Giselle was like, "Oh, that's a good point." I was like, "Yeah, they don't care." Anyway, so we get past that fakery. So Wendy is in the ER because they have to remove her kidney stone, which is 9 centimeters, and that is scary. And I really hope she recovers well and she'll be okay. Um, However, ma'am, Wendy, when working has become too much to the point where you let a kidney stone take on a life of its own, when you clearly have health insurance, as you remind us that you're a professor at Johns Hopkins, one of the top medical universities in the world, if not the most, not the top, I'm going to need you to slow down for a minute, take care of yourself, and then think about what would happen to your family if you aren't there or aren't healthy. Spoiler alert, it's not worth it. Your kids are too young, too small. Your family is young and growing. And quite frankly, I just don't know what you're trying to prove to us. Okay? And something about the scene at the ER, and I'm not saying that she wasn't, sick or anything, but something about the scene, was it just me or did it seem fake? Like, I know she was at the hospital, but the camera conversation between her and Eddie seemed forced. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't know why it just didn't seem real, but it was weird. It was weird. So Ashley's at home with her two boys. Michael, according to Ashley, and she's talking to her nanny about this. Her nanny about the same age. Okay. So Michael is helping Ashley look for a house despite their divorce. Okay. So we haven't seen Michael this season. Good. I don't miss him. But if y'all are getting divorced, hon, and he's helping you look for a home, you cannot entrust with him all the details and decisions. That's just dumb to me. I'm not saying you have to know everything, but I do know for first-time homeowners in any state, and especially in Maryland, there are free courses, you do not have to pay for them, that prepare you for knowing how to find and buy a house. And you can do it online for free. So I'm confused as to why you have not been more proactive in taking this into your own hands. She has allowed him to have way too much financial control. She's afraid to try. She's afraid to lose this lifestyle. And granted, I get it. When you don't grow up with much, the idea of financial insecurity is very scary. But Ashley, you have been on this show for 7 seasons. We saw that little sorry ass Oz restaurant, so on and so forth. But I have yet to see you put your energy behind something and try to at least make us believe that something is happening in your life, the way Robin is trying to convince us that these hats are just like flying off the shelves. But anyway, I mean, what's your money like from this show? Like, are you going to have to do, are you like not getting paid enough for this? Like, I don't get it. Like, you're just going to have to do what the rest of us millennials have had to do, and that's take a leap of faith for a better job and just work and try to work up and then leave that job to find another job to pay more. Like, you're just going to have to put yourself to some like real work. You're going to have to really put in some work. So then we get Giselle and Robin looking for a space for Reasonably Shady. See, this is why I don't understand why they let Giselle get away with so fucking much. Everything she does is a goddamn read. Like, she just like be fucking up, failing, falling flat on her face, and then lying. And people, I don't understand how they have not managed to gang up on her. But she manages to lead the gang up crew every season. Anyway, so her and Robin are looking for a space to, I guess, have it. And then they come into the space. And now they're trying to wonder how they can con everybody into appearing like they have more people than they actually do. And Robin and Giselle are putting $10,000 into this live podcast show that nobody asked for. And I'm confused because as Robin explains, so we don't have any sponsors or anything like that. We're putting our own money. Last week, wasn't Giselle lying to us in the confessional about how Reasonably Shady was blowing up? Everybody wanted pizza, but this, that, and the other. And you don't have a sponsor. You don't have not one. The people bought tickets. They don't leave with nothing. They don't leave with no cups, no drinks, no t-shirts. Y'all was some bullshit. Okay? Anyway, so Giselle, true to form, who can't stay focused on business, starts asking Robin questions about her wedding. She says she's in her feelings about not being invited to the wedding. And Robin's like, nobody's invited to the wedding except for me, Juan, and our 2 boys. So she's telling her that she's over it, but she does need a date for the wedding just in case Robin needs her to do something at the last minute. Giselle, you don't strike me as a good enough friend to do something at the last minute, but that's just me. So Giselle, everything that Robin was saying, Giselle was looking at her like, I don't believe anything you're saying. And that's probably because it's bullshit coming out of Robin's mouth. But Giselle, you should know because you lie all the fucking time. All right, so Robin and Juan, after Giselle brings it up, uh, Robin says she needs to have a prenup conversation with him. Robin, I want you not to mention this prenup no more or this wedding. Just how has Robin lasted 7 years on this show? She is so boring. I just can't. I just whatever. Then we get Candace's insecure video shoot. We don't see much of Candace in this episode, and quite frankly, I did not miss her. So Candace is doing crunches before the video shoot to make her abs pop. Candace, are you that stupid? Or is your anxiety just taking over? Like, as somebody who has worked to lose weight, who has been overweight at different points in my life and has struggled with it, like, if you think that's going to make your abs pop 5 minutes before your video shoot, you are a special kind of fool. Okay? So her mom is there. We finally, Dorothy who can't stay off camera. I guess she's trying to make up for lost time for last season. And her mom is asking her, like, what are you doing? And she was just like, okay, like, you doing these crunches for what? She talks about how no matter what's going on, she loves to have her mother there for any milestone. I have a great relationship with my mother. And I know everybody doesn't. But I'm still trying to figure out how somebody like her mother can be so hurtful, so dysfunctional, so disrespectful to your husband now that you've moved into that aspect of your life, and you still have her there, and then say she's been instructed to be quiet. No, she's not going to be quiet. Why would she do that? When has she ever had to do that? This is what I mean. Okay? So anyway, but your husband isn't there. Probably because he don't want to be around that bitch. Is that worth it, Candace? Like, Candace, I need you to grow up. So Candace's video budget was $25,000. I don't know a lot of details about how much these sort of things should cost. I imagine that may be a low scale. But it was given real freshman year in college. Let's just do this video and throw it up on the internet and see if it goes viral. Like, it was given that. Okay? Anyway. So, Candace said, Trina is the bread and butter of women in hip hop. And all I could think was, Candace, don't get in no trouble with those kind of statements. Just don't. You see how Nicki, how Lil Kim, and that Cardi shit has gone. Just say she is one of the main staples in hip hop and keep it moving. And quite frankly, I don't know that people are trekking for Trina like that. I'm certainly not. I don't have anything against her. I liked her music in the early 2000s when I didn't know what it meant. How derogatory it could be to women, but whatever. So, that outfit was a mess. That photo shoot was shit. It looked like there weren't no scenes, but just them two sitting there against a fake car. What the hell is going on? So it was given, I've been watching like Maya videos from the late 90s, early 2000s, which was cute for Maya because of how she, sported it then. But it's not for you, Candace, in 2022. Do better. Do better. Do better. That visor with the ponytail. Like, it seems like she only had one hairstyle for the whole video. Like, girl. And then she was talking about how it's the hardest part is getting people to take her seriously as an artist. Like another housewife just doing music. Oh, really? Who's the other housewife? We talking about Kim Zolciak? Or we talking about Monique, who y'all laughed at, but she talked about her video dropping. And Andy Cohen was like, "You're an artist now." She was an artist from the time she entered the show. And yes, Candace, it is difficult to take you seriously as anything else when we seen you on TV crying over everything, acting like a little brat, making elitist statements about how you grew up like the Cosbys and your husband grew up like the Bundys. And then, on top of that, Candace, on top of all of that, then you want us to take you seriously as an artist when you were going to throw a knife at Ashley because you didn't like what she said about your mother that everybody had witnessed and watched on TV or had experienced off camera. but you wanted to attack Monique about violence. See, this is, yeah, yeah, Candace, I don't see it for you, but they are dead as wrong about what they're saying about Chris. Anyway, so we get Juan and Robin at the house. All right, they're talking about a date for the wedding, and so he goes, "It's up to you. Like it's about you." And he was like, "It was about you the first time. It's about you the second time." She was like, "No, you had an opinion. You had an opinion." And he was like, "Robin, um, Robin, I can imagine that you let him pick out a bow tie. Even though you're not even a girly girl like that, I have a feeling your wedding was like your creation." Anyway, she starts talking to Juan about the meeting she had with the lawyer about the prenup. So she said the question was posed with, should we have a prenup with an infidelity clause? Robin, Robin, Robin. You posed that question, not the lawyer. Okay? And that was slick. That was slick if there weren't cameras around and we didn't see it go down. And Juan's going to see it go down. We'll see if he shows up at this reunion. Probably won't, but nevertheless. So he says he doesn't think that's going to be a problem. He said, "I don't think you're that kind of person." He flipped it. He knew what he was doing. She says, well, Juan was dating someone when they were separated and divorcing, and it became really contentious. She was like, well, we didn't fight over money because there was no money to fight over. And I was like, yeah, Robin, and that was your doing. So I'm going to need you to really chill this time around. I understand you want to protect your assets, but seeing that you get money and then you get in tax trouble, I don't know that you want to separate yourself from more responsible Juan economically the way you keep pretending like you do. Okay? Anyway, so Eddie brings Wendy home from the hospital. She had 2 surgeries in the span of 1 week. That can wear anybody out. She said both were outpatient and she's thankful for that. She said the recovery is hard. It's just hard. The kids were looking after her and I thought that was sweet, especially the little girl. Um, I thought I was interested how Wendy had on so much makeup because her face was beat. Don't get me wrong. But she had on a real beat face for somebody who was in recovery and in so much pain. I personally wouldn't have on all that makeup because that would make me uncomfortable, particularly as I lie down and smear on my pillows, but whatever. So, her mom was offering her red wine and pork chops. I was like, huh? She was like, no, just bring me water and soup. Like, I can't, like, I don't even think you can have that in recovery. So her mom has been sick too. And so Wendy basically says, well, I think I work hard because I saw you do that, this, that, and the other. And that may be true. But Wendy, I think Eddie works hard too. And I think you're also kind of creating a situation for a storyline. But okay. So her mom, I don't think she's creating kidney stones, don't get me wrong. But I just mean, the whole I'm always working. Her mom wants new breast. After she says, well, nothing's really wrong with me. I'm sick. But it's just because I'm getting old. Okay, well, I'm going to need you to apply that same logic to your breast. So she is blaming her 3 children for causing it. Her 3 children who are like mid to late 30s, maybe even early 40s with the other one. You're aging. You don't need a boob job. Moving on, ma'am. Moving on. So Karen goes to hang out with Mia, and of course, tell her all the shit Giselle was pretty. They are so messy. Oh my gosh. So her kids, Mia's kids, call Karen TTK, and I think that's cute. Kids seem to take to Karen, and I think that says a lot about her spirit, like who she really is. Um, so she says she just visited Giselle. Gets her and me in the other room, and she tells her that, well, Giselle told me that you and Jackie showered together, and Mia was like, yeah. What the hell? So Mia was like, well, we've done weird promiscuous things together. She was like, so, you slept together. And she was like, well, no. And so Karen's like, well, what is weird and promiscuous if it's not that? Right? Like, it's all of these, like, unanswered weird space questions. I don't know. So she says, well, we fondled each other because she thought she was going to be a gynecologist. So Karen's like, well, how old were y'all? And she was like, 19 and 20. Like, Mia, I wanted to root for you so bad. And I wanted to root for you last season especially, because I really felt like you had a story to tell. Anybody who survived foster care and had to strip and has found a way out, and has a family and kids, I think you have a good story to tell. But Mia, you are always fucking lying, or like your truth is like never really the whole truth. Like I can't, it's just driving me crazy. And Karen's face was like everything I was feeling. So Karen says she was told that they had sex with other people together, right? Just going down the list. And Karen stops and she goes, and Mia's like, yeah, we do. And she said, was it Peter? And I was like, Karen be getting to it, getting to the bottom of it in a classy way. Like she gonna ask, but she not gonna Giselle ask. So Mia, when we get back from commercial break, goes, well, it was Peter's girlfriend. She said, I knew it. I knew it was too personal at that table. It's all coming together. And yes, the fuck it is all coming together. Because my thing is, that's why that shit is, as far as I'm concerned, it's not healthy. I don't think open marriages, I don't understand that concept. You the two have now become one under God, as far as I'm concerned. So this whole idea of an open marriage, just don't get married. Like I don't even understand like why mock something that's supposed to be so sacred. Like I just don't get it. Cause you go in knowing that. We're not talking about infidelities that happened and then like, for better or for worse. No. It just doesn't make sense to me. And usually when you've had, she was like, well, we had that relationship. We had her first. She was our girl first. And so Karen goes, so Peter had your second. She was like, yep. And I was thinking to myself, whenever, and this is what I mean by those open marriages and those threesomes and that kind of thing, there's always a level of jealousy. I don't care what nobody says. Because if they're not, they don't love you at all. Okay? There's always going to be resentment and competition. I just don't think it's healthy. I don't believe in it. And it does. How many times have we seen it? Just the stuff that goes public. It goes badly. So anyway, I just thought with that, I was like, yeah. And then Wendy was like, yeah, she did some snake shit to Peter's ex-girlfriend. I was thinking to myself, yeah, because she was probably jealous. Because y'all been screwing. Anyway, that's too nasty for me. I just can't. It's too many diseases in the world. I just can't. So Giselle and Robin's live show happens. This is why I don't understand how Giselle gets away with so much. But Karen, let me tell you something. You was everything this episode. You spoke for the people, okay? So Karen and Ray come. Charisse is there. And Charisse, okay. So Juan and the boys come. And, Karen's like, hey, Juan. And Karen was like, she was surprised to see Juan, but she's surprised to see Juan anywhere. I don't know what was in Karen's cup during this confessional, but Karen killed this. Okay? So Karen looks at Ray when they get in there. She goes, it's empty. And he was like, well, it takes time. And she was like, she showed him her phone. She was like, they have 8 minutes to fill the stands. Okay? Or something like that. And she said, I felt sorry for the people who spent their hard-earned that was such a read. I felt sorry for the people who spent their hard-earned money. But at least they had plenty of room and space to stretch out because nobody was there. I died when she did that. Oh my gosh. So Joe Claire apparently, and his name kind of sounds familiar, like he may have been a comedian like from Def Comedy days. He's the host and he introduces them by saying, Robin well, it might as well be. Shit, they the same goddamn person all the time. So Karen's like, I'm taking notes. I'm going to make a not to do list. And then she started, but she also before that was like taping everything. She was like, in the spirit of Robin Dixon, I'm going to tape everything. This empty room. She going to hold that against y'all. Because Karen is giving this episode, okay? All right. So, she makes a to-do list. She was like, no drunk host. Make sure your host knows your name. Make sure their mics work. And Ray looks at Karen at one point during the show and goes, she's something else. And Karen goes, not really. I said, she be getting Giselle. So Karen says the most boring part was actually that little dance contest. So she was like, that's on my to-do list too. No boring dances. So Giselle's daddy was there. Did y'all see him in the back with his mask down? all I can think is, sir, I don't know that I understand you're trying to support your daughter, but he seemed messy from the time he tried to talk about Karen and Collateral that season. They went to New Orleans, and when he had that hot mic on and was talking about all the baby mamas that Jamal Bryant had, just think it may be good for him to lay low. So, but time is precious with your family, so I'm gonna leave that alone. So they bring Juan on stage. He did not look like he wanted to be up there, and I was like, ooh, I was almost kind of cringing for Robin, like this is gonna go left. But anyway, she says, well, is it reasonably or shady that somebody can wake you up in the morning with a vacuum, this and the other? And it was just whack. It was just whack. It was just giving whack. Robin, we know you sleep late, which is your business if you wasn't on reality TV. But it was whack. Ashley came up to do the dance. Okay. They have a Q&A session. And Giselle was like, we don't do this often because we're afraid what's going to come out of your mouth. I know, because you're probably reading all them comments on the internet and know people don't fuck with y'all like that. So, Karen is laughing. Somebody asked about the wedding. When is the wedding? Karen is laughing in the confessional like everybody wants to know when the wedding is. And it was just like, oh, stay tuned. The next thing you know, it's over. The whole show is over. I'm like, what the fuck? And they were like, yeah, and we like grossed about $14,000, but y'all said y'all spent $10,000, so that's $4,000, maybe, before taxes. And so you and Giselle both get $2,000 each for that. Okay. All right. I will give it to you, Giselle. I thought it was cute the way you came down the steps once you were announced properly, but okay. So Mia says they have Mia's confession. She goes, well, I think it's a step up from the tent in her driveway. It's a step. I guess anything step up after that. Karen told them it was good. She was like, I didn't sleep a lot. I said, this shit, Karen, you are the queen. You of this episode. You killed it. All right. So Giselle says she wanted Jackie tells Giselle, like I loved it or whatever. And, Mia was trying to say something nice. And Giselle was like, well, look, I just want to talk to Jackie. But Charisse stays and Ashley eventually joins. So she starts asking her, like, well, who bought your Porsche? And Jackie was like, are you saying I'm the side chick? Like I had to sleep with Gordon to get it? And Giselle, the only thing I can give you is that, yes, I would be curious because both of these bitches lie a lot. Their stories are never straight. Yes, I would be curious, okay? But you're always in people's business, like since season 1. And then you want to, like, tell people when they ask you a question, that's it, the end. That's when it comes to you, okay? So nevertheless, Mia says, well, I could buy it. And says, well, Gordon doesn't have any money. What money does Gordon have? And I was like, Mia, I don't think your stripper money was that long that you want to pull that card and cause tension in between your marriage. But that doesn't look good on TV. I don't think that looks good at all. I would have found it disrespectful had it come from somebody else's mouth, be it a husband or a wife. To do that to the person you're married to, I think that is nothing but grounds for tension, and I'm not here for it. So Mia, you were on point when you said Giselle is nosy and she asks questions to keep us out of asking her business because she doesn't have any. Oh, trust me, Giselle got some skeletons, okay? And she's trying to keep y'all off of them, and that is where y'all need to get her. Trust me, she got an Achilles heel. And y'all just gotta stop letting her talk y'all down. Wait, next week is looking like it's gonna be another mess. We get Ashley Darby's friend up here talking about how Chris came to the bar. Like, this lying on Chris is so clearly a setup plot for the show. It's disgusting to me. I'm not a fan of Ken. I ain't really a fan of nobody on the show. So, like, I mean, whatever. But the truth is the truth. And what y'all are doing could be potentially very damaging to him. All to keep a storyline going. And what was it? Candace called that girl a Sesame Street character. Honestly, I think that's nice because anybody looking and acting like that, she is clearly desperate to be on TV, and it's just it's such a stretch. And the flashbacks we keep seeing is literally Chris drinking something. We don't even know what he's drinking. He's looking at the wall in the corner like, do I have to be at one of these motherfucking things again? Y'all, that's low. That's low, and I don't like it. But this season is giving. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to y'all soon. I doubt we'll have any episodes next week. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yeah, I wish y'all well. Bye.